Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sam here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can automate the collection of all of your meeting data inside your Airtable CRM, and we can build a really cool interface on the front end for your team to use. It looks something like this. So we can see in our meetings tab here, we have our list of meetings. We can filter this by the status of upcoming meetings. We can look at the complete meetings. And we could even just look at the cancelled meetings if we want to, just to see which ones have been cancelled. But here, I'm going to just select the complete meetings. And in a complete meeting, we have the status, the date and time the meeting was. We have a recording link here, which I'll show you how to pull in. Then we've got attendees. We've got sentiment analysis. We've got a short summary. And we've got the full transcript of the full meeting in here as well, which is really, really cool. We can then also search the meetings here by things like roadmap. If I type that in, you can see it pulls up the roadmap meeting. So whatever the meeting title is, we can search by. And we can also search by contacts as well. So if I type in Alex here, you can see Alex Jones at Techie Solutions is also in there as well. So that's what we're going to build out. This is all going to be done automatically by AI and automation. So to do that, what we need to do is jump into Airtable. We'll have to build out some simple automations in Airtable so that when a Google Calendar event is added, updated, or canceled, we can update the meeting's data automatically. But then we're also going to be using a tool called Lindy.ai, which I use a lot for, I suppose, kind of like personal admin tasks. It's really good at helping out with those things. And we're going to build out the note taker here because Lindy.ai has a note-taking system inside of it. So it can join meetings, it can record meetings, it can transcribe meetings. We're going to use that functionality. We're going to customize one of their templates and we're going to have it update our Airtable database when a meeting is complete. So let's jump into building this out step by step. Just so that we can start from scratch, I'm just going to click on all of this. I'm just going to delete all of this data because we don't need this in here. We're going to build this out together. So you can see that we're inside of our core CRM demo account here. We have a bunch of demo data in here for contacts, companies, deals, notes, proposals, tasks. We covered proposals in the last video. So if you're interested in how to create one-click proposals inside of your CRM, do check that out. We built an automation out to help us do that using PandaDoc and ChatGPT. But today we're focusing on meetings, right? And if you're just interested in what core CRM is, you can check that in the description below. But it's essentially our custom CRM that we've built for small to medium-sized businesses that are looking to grow with better systems so that they can leverage AI and automation. Check that out in the description below if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. But you could use any CRM or Airtable base. You could build this from scratch if you wanted to. So crack on if that's what you want to do. In our meetings table here, we have a ID field, which is an auto number field. We have a title field. We have a linked record field to contacts, right? So that we can link our meetings to specific contacts. We have a date time. This is the date and time that the meeting occurs. We have a status field. And what the status field has is upcoming, complete, or cancelled because we need to know the status of a meeting. Then we have a recording link. We're going to get our Lindy.ai agent note taker here to populate the recording link. And then we have a summary of the meeting. Then we have the full transcript and then a sentiment field, which is optional. You can add that if you want to. And we need the event ID, which is from Google, and also the created at date, right? And that's whenever this just event record was created. So the first things first, once you've got your Airtable set up there, we want to make sure that it's linked to our Google Calendar. So you can see down here, I've got a calendar set up. I'm using a demo calendar for this. If I come over to automations, we have these three automations. Now I'm going to build these from scratch again. So if I come down to create automation, just so that you can follow along and make this easy for you. So I'm going to call this demo Google Cal event create. Now we're going to add a trigger here. If I click on this and we can scroll down to a Google Calendar integration. So if I click on this Google Calendar, you can see when event is created. This is what we want to start with, because whenever a new event is created, we want to add it to our meeting table. So we're going to connect our account. I already have a Google Calendar account. You will need to add your Google Calendar account if you have not done so already. In here, I'm going to select the calendar. As I said, I'm using the demo calendar here. And then it wants us to choose an event to test this. We don't have an event right now. So let's go over to here and let's click on test event. And then I'm going to add my other email address here just to make sure that we've got an invitee, right? So I'm going to click send, invite all guests. So now if we come back over here, I'm going to click on choose event. Now you can see our test event has popped up in our Airtable. So I'm going to select that. And now you can see it pulls all of the data from that event. So you can see down here that we've got the start time, the end time, when it was created. We've got the event ID, which is going to be really important. We've got the status, the creator, so that's who created the event. And then we've got the attendees and also the Hangouts link as well. So you can use Google Hangouts, which is called Google Meet nowadays, or you can use Zoom. It will work. This will work either way, but I'll show you the configuration of that when we get into building out this Lindy. So I'm going to come now into actions, and then I'm going to say create a record. So whenever a new event is created, we want to create a record. So we're going to say create meeting. Table is going to be meetings here. And then the fields, we're going to map out all of the different fields, right? So if I go title, we're going to click on this little blue plus icon here. Then we're going to go make sure that we have the Google Calendar selected, and then we're just going to drop the title in there. The next thing is we're going to go with the date and time. I'm going to click on this little cog here, and then I'm going to change this to dynamic, and that gives us the blue plus again. And then we're going to bring in the start time. You could also build out a field for end time if you want, but for me, that's not really important here. I don't really need to know exactly what time a meeting ended, though I could see some benefit for that in the future. But for this example, we're just going to use a start time. Next, we're going to then look at what else do we need here? We need the contacts, which is going to be the attendees. So if we add that in, then click on the blue plus, we are then going to put attendees in here. Now, there might be multiple attendees to this event. There might be multiple email addresses. And what it will also do is if it does not find the contact in the database already, so if the contact is not already in your CRM, it will add the contact into your CRM for you, which is also nice. Then we're going to choose one final field here, which is the event ID. Actually, we do have the status to add as well. So the event ID we'll add in. And then finally, promise you finally, will be the status. So we're going to set the value as upcoming. So that's what we want. We've got the title, the start date, the attendees, the event ID, and upcoming. So that's the core of the automation. So if I generate a preview here just to run that through, you can see that it just gives us a preview of what it's going to create, right? So I'm just going to close this down and we can turn that on. So if we turn this on, let's test it out. So if I come over to this calendar, let's just delete that one. And let's add a new one in. So I'm going to go test event, can't type. So test event 2. Let's add our guests here. So I'll put my email address in there. And then we're going to leave the Google Meet in. We're going to click save and then send that invitation. And then if we come back over to our automation here, if we click on automation history, we should see that that's just run. So that has literally just run and it's created a record. So if we come back over to data, you can see, okay, cool. We've now got our new meeting in here. So this is the event. This is who's attending. This is the date and time and the status. Now we don't have the transcript and the summary of the recording link yet because obviously the meeting's not happened. So if I go over to contacts, you'll also see that it's added me in here at the bottom. So that is something that I would want to keep an eye on as a CRM manager, just to make sure that all of our data is up to date. So if I come back over to our automation, we have that one working, which is great. So the next one that we want to do is create another automation. And this is going to be demo again. And this time we're going to use the Google Cal update function. So that's if you change a meeting, which happens quite regularly. You're going to change a meeting, whether it's the time, whether it's who's attending, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to add a trigger here again. We come back down to Google Calendar. And then if we use this other trigger here, which is when event is changed. So if you think about it this way, we already have the event and the ID logged in our meetings table. If I make a change to that event, I need to find the event first, and that's where the meeting ID, so the event ID is really important, and then we need to make the updates. So the first thing that we're going to do is add our Google Calendar account and our demo calendar again. I'm going to choose an event here, so just load in our one that we just created. So when an event is changed, so if that event is changed, this is going to fire off. The first thing that we need to do is find the record. So we're going to click on find record as an action. Then I'm going to click on table. I'm going to come into meetings, find record based on type. We're going to use condition. So we want to use a condition to find it. Then we're going to add our condition where not the ID, but where the event ID. And then you can see it kind of comes off the screen here, so it's a little bit confusing. You have to drag this over. If we click on the cog here, change this to dynamic, and we want to have the event ID from the updated record. So where the ID in our meeting table, the event ID in our meeting table matches the event ID from the updated calendar event, then we can continue. So if we test that action, it's going to find that record for us. And then the next thing that we want to do is update the record, right? So here we will select our table again, go to meetings, and now it needs to know which record in meetings do I need to update. And it's going to be the record ID of this step here. So where we found the record, we want the Airtable record ID. It says make a new list of Airtable record ID. There will only be one of those, so that will always be correct. And then the updating fields, we might want to update the title. So we come back into here and then just plug everything back in again. So we're going to go to the date time, going to make sure that that is set to dynamic. Then we're going to come back into here, change the start date, because we might have changed the start date. That's quite common. Then we're going to add back in our contacts because maybe the attendees changed. So we can then go back down to attendees. And then the final one was status, but we don't need to change the status because if it's just updated, there's nothing else to change there. All right, so if I generate a quick preview now, you can see it gives us a little preview. And then if I'm going to turn this on, now we can see this working. So if I come back into here and let's say I change the title of this event and I'm going to say test event updated. If I click save, send. So I've just changed the title of the event. Oh, I don't want to close everything down. So if I've just changed that, now if I come over to automation history, you can see it ran successfully. So it triggered when an event was changed. So now if we go back over to our data, come over to our meetings, we should see, yeah, it's been updated. Now let's try and change the time, right? So if I'd move this to 10:30, click save. And if I come over here straight away, you can see it's set to 10 a.m. Now you can see the automation there is just logged on and it's just essentially changed the date and time. We saw that in real time happening, which is really cool. So we have one more automation to build here, which is if an event is canceled or if it's deleted. And you can get how this is going to go, right? It's going to be the same type of thing. So we're going to go demo. And then we're going to go Google Cal canceled. So if we come back over to our trigger here, and then we're going to come down to Google Calendar. When an event is canceled, we're going to select our account, select our calendar, our demo calendar here. We're going to choose an event just to run the test through. We can pull through all the data. And then we are going to essentially find the record again, because all that we need to do here is just change the status to cancelled. We don't need to do anything else. So we just need to find the record and then update the status. We want to keep a log of cancelled meetings in our meetings database because it's really important information. We want to be able to see, okay, well, how many meetings on average do people cancel with us when we're trying to sell them something? Like this is what's part of our sales process. How many people are booking in an initial consultation and then canceling? And we need to try and figure out why. If that cancellation rate is high, we need to figure out why. That rhymed. That one will stick in your head. So if we come over to meetings and if we come to find records based on condition again, then we go where event ID. And then again, we need to pull this over, click on the little cog, change that to dynamic. And then we're going to match up the event ID to our Google event ID. So when an event is canceled, find the record first. Let's just test that to pull it through. And then all that we're going to do is update the record. We're going to grab we're going to say in our meetings table, the record ID is going to be from find records. Scroll down, it's going to be Airtable record ID under this make a new list of. And then all that we're going to do is change the status to cancelled. All right. So if I turn that on, all right, that's on now. If I come back over to our data, now let me cancel this meeting. So if I just delete this, all right, and then if we come back over here, we should see the automation kick in and then change it to cancelled. Pretty cool, right? So now we have like a meeting tracker. We have our Airtable CRM connected to our calendar. It can grab all of the new meetings that are added. It can make any changes for updated meetings, time changes, contact changes, title changes, whatever it may be. And then it can also let us know when a meeting has been cancelled as well. So that gives us the baseline. Next thing that we need to do is build out our AI tool that is going to join the meeting and it's going to record the meeting. Then it is going to transcribe, summarize, etc. We want to add that in for successful meetings. So this is what we're going to be building out here, which is it triggers when the calendar event starts, or we can also give it an ad hoc meeting ID. It's going to check that it's a virtual meeting first off, because it's not going to try and record a meeting that doesn't have a Zoom or a Hangouts link. If it is, it's going to record the meeting. It's going to get the task URL, which is just something that it needs to functionally do to continue running here. And then after the recording is available, it's going to update our Airtable record, right? So it's going to come into our meetings database. It's going to update the record. And then this is just an extra bit that I use personally, what I've added on. You don't have to add this, but I like to throw all of my meeting summaries into a meeting note taker channel in Slack so that I have access to all of the meetings that have been recorded just in one Slack channel. And then I can also chat with this AI tool to ask it questions about the meeting. It has access to the full transcript, so I can go back and forth with it and chat with the AI agent to get any extra information that I need if it's not covered in the summary, or if I want to pinpoint something that I know that we specifically talked about, which is super, super helpful. So we're going to build this out together. If you do not have a Lindy account, I recommend creating one. You can create a free Lindy account. You get up to, I think, 500 credits per month. I would probably say that one run of this is probably around about 30 credits or something like that. Actually, let's have a quick look. So 1 credit, no. So yeah, 36 credits on that one. And I think you get 400, 500 credits for free. So you can test this out. I find this tool really, really good for just building out quick AI agents that you can tag on to systems. But then also, I really love to connect it with Slack so that I pull some of the data from our data hub, which is our CRM, into Slack, and I can actually chat with an AI about it, which is super powerful. I've talked about this numerous times now in multiple videos. Having as much data, business data in one place like Airtable allows you to build all these things on really, really easily without things getting messy, right? We know that the data lives in Airtable, and we can also use that data inside of other tools really easily with simple workflows. So let's get into building this. The easiest way of doing this is actually if you come into your Lindy home area, there is a meeting note taker template. So you can start here because it gives us most of what we need. So if I click on this, and then I'm just going to click on add, comes up and it says, hey, connect your account. So connect your Google account, connect your Slack account, click continue. Then this is new, by the way. I haven't seen this before. They've got obviously got a nice little onboarding flow for some of their templates, which is kind of cool. So now we click continue. Which calendar should it connect to, right? So we're going to use our demo calendar. All right, so now it's asking us what kind of meetings do you want Lindy to be joining? And it gives us a few options here. Let me just explain why you would use different ones. So only events with internal attendees it's going to match up your domain. So, my email address is sam@natural.agency. So it will only attend meetings with other people that have a natural.agency email domain. It won't attend any external meetings. So if we only want to record internal meetings, that can be useful for that. If you only want to record meetings with external people, so we don't want to record internal meetings, but we want to record all of our sales meetings with clients and maybe client meetings for service delivery, that's probably also what we want. If we want it to attend everything, which is what I like to have, I just click on all events because I want it to attend internal meetings, external meetings, but just meetings where there is more than one person there. So now we can click on continue, and it's going to build out the core functionality for us. So if I come over to Flow Editor, we're going to change this a bit. So let's get rid of these notes. The first thing that we want to do is just double check that it's got our calendar connected. It was called project work, so that is right. And then we also have virtual meeting, go down this path if the event contains a meeting link. So when the event starts, only continue if it has a meeting link, like a Zoom link or a Google Meet link. If it does, it will then continue to record the meeting. Now, when the meeting recorder joins the meeting, it will send you as the host, or whoever the host is, because the host might be someone else, right? It will send the host a message that just says, hey, I'm here to record and transcribe this meeting. I changed this from Lindy because people don't know what Lindy is. I'm just going to say Sam's note taker. I'm here to record and transcribe the meeting. So if somebody else is hosting the meeting, it's just going to send them that message just to let them know that it's here. Then I will change the name to Sam's meeting note taker, and then we'll turn this Lindy logo off. We don't need that, right? Get task URL, you can just leave that. We don't need to change anything with that. That's just so it can function properly. So after the meeting happens, what's going to happen is this meeting recorder is going to then process the meeting. And then Lindy knows here that after the recording becomes available, we need to go down this path. And you can see down here, it has email the user notes. So if you want to receive an email with the user notes, feel free to leave this in and you can configure that however you want. I don't want that, so I'm going to delete it. But what I want to do is I want to add in a step. So I'm going to click on the little plus there. I'm going to click on perform an action. Then we're going to go to Airtable. And I'm going to click on update record. Now, I want it to be able to come into our meetings database. So if I click on this here, I've got it connected to my Airtable base. If you don't have your Airtable account, connected already, you have to add an account and connect your Airtable account. Leave the model on Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is more than good enough for this. We don't want Lindy to ask for confirmation here. You can toggle this on so that it actually asks for confirmation before it updates any records. Maybe that's applicable to your situation, but it's not for mine. So we're going to then select the base, which is our core CRM demo base. And then we're going to come back into table meetings. And then the lookup field, so the lookup field to match on is going to be the event ID. So we want to update the record based on the Google event ID. If I scroll over, that would be this here, right? Because there's only going to be one ID for one event, so it's going to be 100% accurate. So the value here, we don't want to leave this on auto. We want to bring this to manual, and then we're going to click here, open this up, and we want the event ID here. So the calendar event ID, right? So it's going to match based off of the event ID in the right field. Then it gives us the options of what fields we want to update. So if I come back over to our data in our meetings table, we've got the title, we've got who's the attendees, i.e. the contacts, we've got the date and time, the status, the recording link, all this stuff. Now, what we want is the recording link, we want the summary, and we want the transcript and the sentiment as well. So if we come over here, I'm going to let it auto-fill the title because it probably won't need to anyway. It will just be the same. The date and time will probably be the same. But just in case any changes were made last minute and for whatever reason our Airtable CRM didn't pick it up, I'm going to leave those in and just let the AI automatically fill those. The status, what we want to do is we want to change this to complete, right? So we want to set that manually. If the meeting is now complete, we want to change the status to complete. We don't need the AI to try and figure it out. It's just going to, take up more context window for it to be able to do that. So let's just set that manually. The recording link will be, if I set manually here, I can then come into the record meeting. Then we can go to the video URL, right? That will be the recording link. The summary we'll come back to in a second. The transcript, I think we can set manually here as well. Yeah, as the transcript. Event ID, etc., etc. So the event ID is already going to be that, but let's just set that manually. Now we got two extra fields here where we actually require the AI to do some processing. right? We're not just pulling stuff from the fields up in further nodes. We actually require the AI to do some processing. So for the summary, we're going to actually change this auto to prompt AI, and we're going to give it a prompt so that it can create a summary for us based on the transcript. So if I just copy and paste in what I have initially from my other automation. So create a short summary of what was covered in the meeting and the actions that were discussed. Use the transcript here. So in here, I'm going to come back into our record meeting. I'm going to put the transcript in there. And then it knows how to use the transcript to create the summary. Same for the sentiment here. So in the sentiment, I'm going to change this to prompt the AI. And then here I have run a sentiment analysis on the transcript and output either positive, neutral, or negative based on your findings. So we're going to leave that in there. And then that's our update Airtable record done. So I'm going to click save quickly because I don't want to lose everything that we've just done here. And now you can see that we basically have everything that we need to just update the Airtable record once the meeting is finished. So you can stop there if you want. Me personally, I like to have everything also thrown into Slack so that I can engage with it if I need to. So I'm going to show you how to do that quickly, and then we'll wrap this one up. So I'm going to delete all of this stuff down here because we don't need it. But what we do need is to perform an action. And then if we come down and search for Slack, I'm going to say send a channel message. I'm not going to say send a DM. And the reason being is because if you want to have a chat with the AI about the meeting, you have to do that in a thread, and you cannot do a thread in a direct message. So you need to set up a specific channel for your AI agent, your meeting note taker agent to exist in, and have it throw all of your AI meeting summaries, etc., into that channel. Then you can engage in the thread of each meeting. You can have a chat with the AI agent. So here I'm going to click on send channel message. So if I open up our send channel message here, it's already connected to my Slack. So you'll need to connect it to your Slack if you have not done so already. So for the channel, you'll actually need the channel ID. So let me just pull that up for you. All right, so you can see I'm in my meeting note taker channel that I've set up here, and it's got all of my meeting notes and stuff in here. So if I click on this at the top, then if I scroll down, there is going to be a channel ID here. If I can click on that, it was going to copy it to the clipboard. Then we can come back over to our meeting note taker. I'm going to change this to set manually. I'm going to put that in there. And then the message, we essentially want to prompt the AI what type of message to send us in this channel. So again, I'm going to change this to prompt AI. And then I'm just going to copy my prompt into here that I have set up already. So send the meeting recap and action items, etc., etc. Ensure the message is concise. And then what we also want to do is include the recording URL. So I'm going to click on that here, put the video URL in. The bot icon emoji, you can set that to whatever you want. I'm just going to set this as a little leaf because I like it. And then the icon URL, you can just leave blank, right? So send from a user account. No, we don't want to do that. We're going to send it from our meeting note taker AI agent. So now that that message sends through, after the message is sent, what we do want to do is have a condition. So we've added our condition, and we're going to say, go down this next path if there is a question about the meeting. So after it sends the message, it's going to kind of hang at this condition until there is a question about the meeting that we ask the agent inside of our Slack channel. So if there is a question about the meeting, then we're going to add another step. And then we're going to add this Slack thread here. Really important that you choose that one. And then we're going to click on send message. You can see down here, it says send the reply to the thread. So it's going to use the thread from the channel message, and then it's going to hit the reply. Now here you can just leave this as AI to automatically fill this out, because the AI is going to essentially take the question in, and then it is going to figure out what it needs to answer with, right? So we don't need to change it or prompt it in any way. It's going to do its job automatically. And then you might have further questions, right? So you might ask it a question and a question and a question. You might keep asking it questions. So essentially what we want to do here is grab this. So after a message is sent, we're just going to pull this back over to the condition. And you can see it loops round. So if there is a question, answer it. If there is another question, answer it. If there is another question, answer it, right? And it's going to keep doing that until we stop asking it questions. So that's our meeting note taker. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, I'm going to actually create a meeting. I'm going to attend the meeting, and then we'll come back once this starts to work, and you can see it all populating and updating our meetings table. All right, so just to let you guys know, it's 10:13 right now. I just added a meeting for 10:15, so a test meeting attended at 10:15, and you can see that it's logged it as status upcoming. All right, so you can see actually in the top corner here, we've got our meeting. So let me just show you this in action, right? So I'm going to join this meeting. I'm going to click on join now, and you can see in the bottom left-hand corner here, the meeting note taker has arrived. So if I admit this person in, now there is two people in the meeting. There's me and the meeting note taker, and the meeting is happening right now. So you can see also it's now said, hey, I'm the meeting note taker. I'm here to record and transcribe this meeting. So essentially I'm just going to chat and waffle for a minute. We'll cut this out and then we'll jump back afterwards. All right, so I'm going to leave the call now. If I leave the call, now we should have our task here. If I click into our meeting note taker, you can see here that it's doing all the stuff that we asked it to. So it attended the meeting. It was a virtual meeting. It's recorded the meeting. The meeting is completed. And now it should be going into here and updating everything. Okay, cool. We just saw it in action. So there is the status updated to complete, the recording link, the summary, the transcript, and the sentiment is neutral, right? So pretty cool. You can have this set up and running in the background, and every meeting that you have with a potential customer or a potential client, or even if it's an internal meeting, it all gets logged into your CRM here. And then because it is attached to a contact, if I just add this to like a test contact here, for example, you could see if I come into contacts now, if I scroll up to a test contact, actually, let me go into my interface because that's what we want to be using here. So in my interface, if I look for Alex, so we just had this meeting with Alex. We can see down here, we got all of Alex's info. We've got our deal for Alex. We've got notes and we've got our meetings, right? So our meeting is logged in Alex's record now. So every meeting that we have with Alex would be logged in here. We can click on it to open it. There's the recording link. There is the sentiment. There's the summary and the full transcript. So it's pretty cool stuff. We can track all of our meetings in here. And then you can imagine in the future, the interesting things that we can do with AI to analyze all of our sales meetings, to analyze all of our internal meetings, to provide coaching for us individually. This is the point that I'm trying to get across with these videos about having all of your business data in one hub. That's why we're building this core CRM system and the community to help support small to medium-sized businesses that are looking to use tools like this to grow. So if that is of interest, do check that out in the description below. But either way, whether you like to get involved with that or use your own CRM and your own templates, hopefully this one's been helpful, show you how you can use Lindy to connect all of your meeting data into your CRM, also into Slack. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. And let me know in the comments below. Do you have any other requests for other things like this that you want to see? Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.